Alright, this video is going to be a bit different from the usual, but I really wanted to show this before he gets nerfed into the ground, so here it is. If you aren't aware already, Voxlblade is an RPG solely dependent around the blade and handle path. You can create many combinations, and with it, many builds that can be either good or bad. And well, I made a pretty strong one. This build pretty much shreds like anything in the game. Corrupt frog, bee, whale, like... it can kill anything like really fast due to the high DPS. If you haven't already noticed by this point, yes, I am using the Dragon Slayer blade. I used other stuff in the past, but then it got nerfed really bad, so I kinda had to switch to this. Back then, I was using the Bestial Dagger with the King's Handle, as the Bestial Dagger gave me rage, and the King's Handle was really nice for the crits whenever I got them. It actually made Dagger not suck. Although, the devs did not like that, and they nerfed Prisoner Set and Dex heavily. I mean, the Prisoner Set nerf was deserved, but like, oh man, the Dex nerfs really got me. So eventually I had to switch. Now, let's talk about how good my current build is. I'm using the Dragon Slayer blade as is the only greatsword that scales off dexterity. It doesn't scale that much, but the passive is also really nice for what we're going for. Now, the blade on its own isn't that great, but now we have the handle, the duelist handle. This handle is literally the perfect handle you could go for this build, as we'll see later with the Infusions. But it mainly scales off of dex, a lot more than the blade, so it is quite nice for what we're going for. Especially considering that a lot of other greatsword builds mainly focus on physical and not dexterity, so this is the best we can get, really. Now, for the armor I'm wearing, I'm using the full rev set along with the agile ring and combat roll rune, and they're all dexterous because we want as much dexterity as we can. And the reason why we're using the full rev set is for the passive engine, so that we can swing faster. We also get a lot of dexterity boost out of using the rev set, so this is honestly just perfect all around. 95% speed boost, a bunch of engine, a lot of attack speed, really good. With this gear alone, we are doing about 200 damage per click, which is honestly really good, but we can make it better. Now, if you recall correctly, the Duelist handle gives us a passive called Piercer, which gives us true damage on all of our finisher attacks, as well as bonus damage. True damage is a great variable to have in our build, as it ensures we're dealing 100% of our damage 100% of the time. The passive we get from the Greatsword, Inhuman Swings, just makes us swing faster the more dexterity and physical boost we have, which is also very good. It was nerfed, but hey, it is still pretty solid. Now, let's talk about Infusions. There are 3 spots around the map that you can infuse armor to yourself, each costing a binding orb and each giving you half of the stats of the armor as well as the armor passive. The 3 pieces I have infused, they make the build very, very good. Like, it wouldn't be broken otherwise if I were to not talk about them. And that is Divine Infantry armor and Dandelion Knight armor. Now, we'll talk about the most easiest one to explain first, Dandelion Knight armor. It makes us do more knockback, and moves with more knockback make us always crit. So basically, we're always critting on every hit, which is pretty much essential for this build. Now, Divine Infantry armor gives us bonus holy damage whenever we do our finisher attack, which wouldn't be all that great until you remember we have the passive Piercer, which converts all of our finisher damage to true damage. This means that not only all the extra holy damage that we do gets converted to true damage, but it also deals bonus damage because of the passive Piercer, meaning it stacks really well.
That's a lot of damage! How about a little more?
Keep in mind, I am level 100, so I'm dealing 100% more damage than I usually would if I were level 0. And I get to do all this while zooming around, bro! Let's go! Woo! As for guilds, I went with the Vampire Guild. It is the most self-sustained out of any guild in the game, and I'd rather just go Vampire instead of Gladiator. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Tune in next time when I open 100 Brilliant Presents and 100 Astral Presents, and I get absolutely scammed. But until then, I will see you guys in the next episode.